Okay, right. So we are now looking at question 85, page 45. Variable overhead variances. So let's look at the question. It says that workers, so it tells us again, nothing different. Go through the ritual, isolate the standard cost card. What's the situation per unit? The variable overhead will vary with volume. So it's a normal cost. We expect it. It's variable. So what are we saying? What actually happened was they did 12. This looks quite similar to something I think we just did. They actually worked 12. The workers worked 12,000 hours, and the variable overhead rate is £5 an hour. So if you like, the VOAR is £5. We've talked about absorption. We have absorbed the variable overhead based on, if you like, on hours. But we know that the more hours you do, the more overhead is expected. So that's perfectly normal to have a VOAR. It's okay. It makes sense. Right? So this is no different to having labor or material. It's no different. It's just an association. We have absorbed a variable overhead and found and unitized it or made it uniform, right? And it says that during the time they made 2,000 units. The key point again, they made 2,000 units. This is that's the situation here. This looks very familiar to what we just did with labor. It is no different. The standard is that it says that we expect the standard number of hours allowed to make a product is five hours. It's very similar to the labor question. And the variable overhead expected rate, if you like, the budgeted rate, the standard rate, this is my standard cost card that I'm talking about right now, is £5.50. So £5.50 is my variable overhead absorption rate. It's 5 hours. So, well, let's see again, nothing so different. What do I expect you in terms of variable overhead? In terms of efficiency, do I expect? So I have 5 times 2,000. I expect 10,000 hours of overhead at the budgeted rate of £5.50. So first of all, you can see I have a problem here. I expect you to spend 10,000 hours of overhead. You've done 12,000 hours. So again, there is no difference. You're treating it as like a normal variable. That's fine. You have a difference of 2,000. This is unfavorable, right? I expected you to spend, if you like. Yes, that was as I said, that was unfavorable. You've gone 2,000 hours over what we expected you to sort of spend. So you have this 2,000 hour difference, and we multiply that, of course, by the standard rate, right? Because we're focused, if you like, on the volume here, so to speak, or number of hours. That's kind of what's on my, if you like, that's what's happening here. Well, I expected you to do 10. You've done 12. So that's 2,000 difference, and I multiply that by the standard of £5.50, right? That's that sort of thing. If you watch my previous video, that's what you've done. That's the variance. So 2,000 times £5.50, I think, brings us again to 11,000, and this is unfavorable. But somehow you were able to, it says the actual variable overhead in the end, when we notice, is actually less. So you were able to it was cheaper, £5. Think of this again like labor material, no difference. Cheaper than what we expected. There's a difference of 50p. And you bought, if you like, it's based on 12,000 hours. That's what we're sort of working with, 50p times 12,000 hours. So you now have a 50p times 6,000 times 12,000, giving you a £6,000 favorable variance. Right? So again, we have this very clear analysis that you will treat. The moral of this video is that you will treat materials, labor, and variable overhead variances exactly the same way. They are all variable items, right? So we can analyze them based on volume, so to speak, or quantity along this way and price along this way. We can do that with them. Okay, that's the end of these 3 videos. My next videos will be on the fixed overhead, and we will analyze that in the next video. Thank you. So please, as usual, do all the variable overhead questions. That's 85 all the way through till 91. So they're not a lot of them, but just do them. Keep doing them. Keep doing them. 85 to 91. Do everything. Do everything. Get bored. Make sure you're totally comfortable with them. Okay, great stuff. Thank you. See you in the next video.